I wonder how many people have went to the alley mechanics. I wonder how many people have went to the backyard mechanics and got stuff done, and they stepped a little bit outside of where their comfort zone should have been, not understanding the systems. And somebody in the future has either condemned a car, condemned an engine, because the video I'm about to show you, the engine sounded like it had no compression. If you don't know these cars, you wouldn't understand that Mercedes 6-cylinders, they don't sound like they have compression when they're running at their top. They sound real weak. With that being said, if you don't know the systems, you could easily condemn a vehicle. Compression, timing chain, bad pistons, whatever it may be. But this customer took it to somebody because the check engine light was on. They diagnosed it. They replaced the part, and then the vehicle never started. It never started before. It never started after. This is what I found. 2009 Mercedes C300. It had a crank sensor issue, and this customer took this to a guy on the street, just some random guy that said he did work and could pull codes but couldn't do anything else. And he says, yeah, you got a crank sensor code. I really don't know how to diagnose these Mercedes that well, but I think what it means is I need to put a crank sensor in it. Well, before doing all this, they cranked the hell out of this car trying to get it to start and just flooded the intake. I mean, just flooded. It just reeked of fuel whenever you pull the intake. When you pull the oil cap, it just smelled like raw fuel coming out of the oil cap. It smelled like raw fuel coming out of the intake system. Just in general, this car reeked of fuel while you were trying to crank it over. So the guy puts the crank sensor in it, and he cranks it and cranks it and cranks it. And even though he fixed the problem, he actually induced another problem, and maybe even the customer as well, cranking it, trying to get it to start. By cranking it so much, it flooded the system, and the vehicle just would not start at all. Just absolutely would not start. And we came out here, engine sounded kind of weak, like it had compression issues, but at the same time, the timing chain, everything looked good. Vehicle, other than that, didn't really seem like it had that bit much of a problem. And then as we were doing a compression test just to check relative compression, it started to fire a little bit, and I was like, clear flood mode. So I sat here for about 5-10 minutes, put it in clear flood mode, in and out, in and out, in and out, cleared all that raw fuel out. Vehicle fired right up. It's been running great. Well, I just took it around the block a few times, got on it really hard a bunch of times, and I noticed something's wrong here, but that's because of the accident. It's not really cooling. Something's wrong with the cooling fan. Kicks on sometimes it doesn't, but it hasn't ever overheated yet. What I've found is the vehicle actually runs really good. It seems like it kind of needs a tune-up, but other than that, it was just a lack of knowledge on the guy's part that installed the crank sensor in the vehicle. And customer cranking the hell out of the vehicle probably before the guy installed it, and then the guy continuing to crank the hell out of it, and then it sounded kind of like it has low compression. Vehicle's pretty beat up overall, for sure, but it's running. 2009 Mercedes C300. Don't do this. Make sure you know how to put it in flood mode. Flood mode, basically, shut the key off, hold the accelerator pedal down to the floor, crank the vehicle over a bunch. What that does is it disables the injectors. It actually primes the oil system. It disables the injectors so you can clear all that raw fuel out of the system, and then you can start the vehicle. Starts up like it's brand new. No problem. Understand what you're working with. Y'all be blessed. Take care. Have a great evening.